Hi, Assalamualaikum. I will talk about the benefit of e-learning. The most important principle for designing lively e-learning is to see e-learning design not as information design, but as designing an experience. E-learning is a process using media. It allows students to learn everywhere and also anytime, as long as students have properly configured device such as laptop, computer, or mobile phone. I believe most of us are familiar with e-learning because we are now having this learning method due to pandemic COVID-19. In today's world, educational technology that is e-learning can be used in various type of sophisticated platform have become an effective tools in the learning process. Electronic educational technology, which is also known as e-learning, have become an important part of society. So the focus should shift from knowledge-based to application-based testing to gauge the learner's ability. Therefore, I would like to share with you the benefit of e-learning from my point of view. The main benefit of e-learning for me is saving time and money. E-learning is cost effective as compared to traditional form of learning because students can reduce cost for transportation and accommodation. By having e-learning, university students can just stay in their hometown attending the online class, so they can save the rental fees. Moreover, they also can save on transport fee and also save time because they do not need to travel to the physical class. Educational institution also can save money, such as electricity bills, as they do not have to they do not have to set up the physical class for students. Therefore, e-learning can help students and educational institutions to save money and time. The second benefit of e-learning is more flexible and convenience. This is because students can access online classes anywhere and every time as long as they have internet connection. Traditional form of learning are often inflexible as the student is expected to be physical and mentally present in the room for a period of 6 hours or even more. So often students will reach saturation in the middle of the day, especially for traditional form of learning. So they are also unable to retain what they learn later on due to the lack of focus while learning. This is effectively taken care by e-learning. So online tutors make students more flexible to study, get answer, and get assignment help with when they feel most comfortable. So this situation will force them to learn while the teaching is taking place. So students could watch the recording video of online class if they miss it, so they can catch up with the syllabus taught. If they do not understand or unable to follow the lecturer's teaching in the online class, they can revise by watching the recording video of the class. Other than that, e-learning is convenience because all the teaching materials are uploaded on the internet. Therefore, e-learning is giving flexibility and convenience to students. The next benefit of e-learning is developing multiple skills such as technical skills, time management, and critical thinking skills. Technical skills are crucial as students are exposed to more applications such as Google Meet, Zoom, Google Classroom, WebEx, and also Kahoot as the platform of e-learning. So students also can improve their editing skills by making presentation video as they cannot present physically in classroom. Moreover, balancing time with family and school is not an easy thing to do. So e-learning make it one of the ways for students to acquire the time management skill needed um, to balance it all, because there is no set classroom time in learning, and students have the flexibility to create their own schedule, which is allow for organized management of their time. So students have time to build their own schedule, um, whether it's time to complete assignment, time to study, time with family, or time for the student themselves. Time management skills can be trained as students have be disciplined in managing their time between studies and personal. Critical thinking skills can be developed in e-learning by challenging students to think out of the box. It plays a role in any type of education. As we all know, the goal in the classroom is to challenge students to think differently and critically. Mastering these critical thinking skills is what will set them apart as a student. However, online learning will force students to develop their critical thinking skills in ways to be not practices in the personal classroom setting that indirectly prove that learning builds student critical thinking. Okay, in conclusion, e-learning fully benefits the students, tutors, and also institutions that offer this course. Because therefore, I hope that online learning will be implemented in all learning institutions, and research on how to improve this learning process should be conducted. E-learning have become quite popular and appreciated among students all over the world due to wide set of benefit it gives to students. Therefore, we must use e-learning wisely. Students do not learn much just sitting in classes, listening to teachers, memorizing pre-packages, assignments, and spitting out answers. They must talk about what they are learning, write reflectively about it, relate it to past experience, and apply it to their daily life. They must make what they learn part of themselves. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. I would like to share about the right ways to do intermittent fasting. So there are many different ways of intermittent fasting, and the methods vary in the number of fast day and the calorie allowance. So intermittent fasting involves entirely or partially abstaining from eating for a set amount of time before eating regularly again. So, if someone want to, nowadays, many people want a skinny body, but their hobby is also eating, and eating. So I choose this topic for that those who want a skinny body can only eat a lot, but on time. So uh, uh, each person experience of intermittent fasting is individual and different style will suit different people. So for my first, how to do intermittent fasting is you can fast fast for 12 hours a day. Like for one day, you can choose if you want in morning time or night time. But regularly people will choose night time because it's it's can less our energy to use because it's during our sleep, and person can consume the same number of calories each day if they do in a night time 12-hour fasting every day. So the easiest way to do the 12 hours fast is to include the period of sleep in the fasting windows. For example, if people choose to morning time, so they need use the energy to work, to walk, to jog, to do some activities in that day. So they will feel tired easily and will eat some eat they will eat in the not on time. So you so you can do in this fasting 12 hours a day at the night time. Okay, next, you can fasting for 2 days a week. People following this diet eat standard amount of healthful food for 5 days and reduce calorie intake on the other 2 days. So during the 2 fasting days, men generally consume in amount 600 calories and women 500 calories. Typical people separate their fasting days in the week. For example, they may fast on a Monday and Thursday and eat normally on the other days. There should be at least one non-fasting day between fasting days. The limits for ratios on the this diet, which is also known as the fast diet. So more people, fat people use this no. The result of fat people is usually because no. There is limit research on this diet, which is also known as the fast diet. A study involving 107 overweight or obese women or men found that restricting calories twice weekly and continuous calories restriction both led to similar weight loss. So it's similar with the weight loss lah. So this diet can use for who wants a skinny body in the not a long term, but is if you try it every day, so you don't need have a long term to you to do this need, and you can get what you want, like skinny body. Okay, so next is skip meal. Okay, skip meal. This flexible approach to intermittent fasting may be good for beginners. It involves occasionally skipping meals. So people can people can make decide which meal to skip according to their level of hunger or time restraint. However, it is important to eat helpful foods at each meal. Meal skipping is likely to be most successful when individuals monitor and respond to their body's hunger signals. So people using this style of intermittent fasting will eat when they are hungry and skip meals when they are not. This may feel more natural for some people than the other fasting methods. So I always use this method because it's just a good method for a beginner, and if you eat twice a day, you feel full in your stomach, so that you will not feel hungry all the time. So the conclusion, there are many different ways to do intermittent fasting, and there is no single plan that will work for everyone. Individuals will experience the best result if they try out the various styles to see what suits their lifestyle and preferences. This form of dieting may not be suitable for everyone. If a person is prone to disorder at eating, their approach may exacerbate their unhealthy relationship with food. So for the best result, it is essential to eat healthful and balance their diet on non-fasting days. If necessary, a person can seek professional help to personalize an intermittent fasting plan and avoid pitfalls. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Hi. So today my topic will be the 5 stages of grief. So for everyone, we might as well have been in a heartbreak, maybe from love, maybe the loss of our most loved ones. Everyone remembers their first love, also most probably their first heartbreak. Everyone has a fair share of how it feels like and how it has taken us down at some point in our lives. In grief, there are 5 stages in the process, in which first is denial. So denial is the first 5 stages of grief. It helps us to survive the loss. In this stage, the world becomes meaningless and so overwhelming. Our emotions pour out and we seem to not see the end. Life makes no sense to us, right? We're in a state of shock and denial. We go numb. We're clueless. We wonder how we can go on. If we go on, why should we go on? We try to find ways to simply get through each and every day. So denial and shock help us to cope and make us survival possible. It also helps us to pace our feelings of grief. There is a grace in denial. It's also nature's way of letting in only as much as we can handle. As you accept the reality of the loss and start to ask yourself questions, you're unknowingly beginning the healing process. You're becoming stronger, and the denial is beginning to fade. After denial comes anger. Anger is a necessary start and stage of the healing process. Be willing to feel your anger even though it may seem endless. The more you truly feel it, the more you embrace it, the more it will begin to dissipate, and the more you will heal. There are in fact many other emotions under the anger, and we will get to them in time. But anger is the emotion we are most used to managing. Truth is, anger has no limits. It can extend not only to your friends, doctors, families, yourself, and your loved ones who died, also to God. You may ask yourself, where is God in this? And if anger is pain, which is your pain, it is natural to feel deserted and abandoned. But we live in a society that fears anger. Anger is seen as strength, actually, and it can be an anchor giving temporary structure to the nothingness of loss. At first, it feels like being lost at the sea, no connection to anything. Next, after anger comes bargaining, which before loss, it seems like you'll do anything if only your loved one will be spared. You say things like, please God, you bargain, I will never be angry. I will never do this. I will never do that. I will never do this just to ensure my loved one will still be alive, and you would just let her live if she's, bedridden, cancer or anything. You don't want that to happen, just if you do something. After loss, it may take the temporary form of truce, this bargaining itself. What if I devote the rest of my life to helping others, you ask yourself. Then can I wake up and realize that this has all been a bad dream? You wish that happens, don't you? So we come down to the maze of this endless loop of if only and what ifs. And so you want life return to what it was, the life before all of this happened. We want our loved one restored, our happiness restored, and everything go back to normal. In fact, we want to go back in time, find the tumor. You feel that guilt is often bargaining's companion. The if onlys cause us to find fault in ourselves and what we think we could have done differently. While in fact, we may even bargain with the pain. We'll do anything not to feel the pain of this loss. We remain in the past, trying to negotiate our way out of the hurt. People often think that of the stages is these stages lasting weeks or months. They forget that the stages are responses to feelings that can last for minutes or hours as we flip in and out of one and then another. We do not enter and leave each individual stage in a linear fashion. We may feel one, then another, back again to the first one. This whole loop will just continue to go through us, and something that we must push through. Next is depression. After much bargaining, we start to slowly shift our attention to squarely realize our present. At this stage, we'll feel those empty feelings in ourselves. This grief starts to enter our lives on a deeper level, deeper than we could ever imagine, actually. This depressive stage feels as if it will last forever. It's important to understand that this depression is not a sign of mental illness. It's just appropriate response to a great loss. We withdraw from life, left in a fog of intense sadness, wondering, perhaps, if there is any point in going on alone. We might think to ourselves, why go on at all? At this point, thoughts such as suicidal and self-harm starts to overshadow ourselves. Depression after loss is too often seen as unnatural, a state to be fixed, something you just, snap out of. The first question to ask yourself is whether or not the situation you're in is actually worth it. Is actually depressing. So the loss of a loved one is a very depressing situation. And depression is normal and appropriate response for grief. To not experience depression is after a loved one dies would be quite unusual. When the loss fully settles in your soul, The realization that your loved one did get better this time and is not coming back is understandingly depressing. If grief is a process of healing, and so depression is one of the many necessary steps along the way. And lastly, the fifth stage, we have acceptance. Acceptance often confuses the notion of being alright or okay with what has happened. Well, that is not the case. Most people don't ever feel okay or alright about the loss of a loved one. This stage is not. This stage is about accepting the reality that our loved one is physically gone and recognizing that this new reality is a permanent reality. We'll never like this reality or make it okay, but eventually we accept it. We embrace the feeling, this whole agony that we feel throughout. We learn to live with it. It's a new norm which we must learn to live eventually. We must try to live now in a world where our loved one is missing. In resisting this new norm, at first many people want to maintain life as it was before a loved one died. It has been forever changed and we must readjust to learn to recognize roles and reassign them to others or take them on ourselves. Finding acceptance may be just having more good days than bad ones. As we begin to live again and enjoy our life, we often feel that in doing so we are betraying our loved one. Well, that is not entirely true. In fact, oftentimes it is not. We can never replace what has been lost, but we can do is make new connections, make new meaningful relationships with others, and new dependencies. Instead of denying our feelings, we listen to our needs, move, change, grow, and evolve. This quote, I quote from Victor E., which goes along the line is, "There has no need to be ashamed of tears, for tears bore witness that a man had the greatest of courage, the courage to suffer." That is all from me. Thank you.
It is now or never. These are the words that have been looming across the globe in 2022 regarding climate change, spoken by the United Nations scientists. Even the United Nations Secretary General insisted that unless governments everywhere reassess their energy policies, the world will be uninhabitable. This comment made by him has reflected Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is the IPCC's insistence that all countries must reduce their fossil fuel use substantially, expand access to electricity, improve energy efficiency, and increase the use of alternative fuels. The ongoing dialogue on climate change should also be focused on the ones responsible for this looming threat. For years, individuals and their lifestyle habits have been the primary responsibility in fighting climate change. It has been instilled in us that helping the planet is to our each responsibilities. As for myself, I have done my job as an individual living on this planet by bringing my own reusable bags to the stores, bringing my own lunchbox to school, and also using reusable straws and bottles when purchasing coffees or teas. These messages have been reinforced in schools and highlighted in advertisements. While individuals trying their best to upturn their lifestyles, corporations get off scot-free when it comes to mainstream social pressure. Assalamualaikum and greetings. My name is Nur Anis Marha binti Bare, and today I'll be speaking on a topic titled How Large Corporations Can Help the Environment. Throughout this whole topic, I'll be explaining to you the three main components circulating this topic, which includes leading the movement, changing methods, and using the power of influence. First and foremost, large corporations can help the environment by leading the movement. Addressing environmental problems on a global scale can be done by promoting the charge. Each companies have a responsibility in choosing their suppliers. Companies should advocate in using sustainable ingredients and items, By making these changes, they can demonstrate good environmental practices and reduce the use of foul items that can degrade the environment. This can also be done by choosing greener infrastructures. When it comes to providing air conditioners, printers, or office materials, they should choose the ones that using the most efficient energy and sustainable towards the environment. To show examples, companies such as IKEA has been a forwarding front in sustainability. IKEA heavily invested in more than 700,000 solar panels powering its stores and 50% of its wood sourced from sustainable foresters who are skilled in planting, managing, and caring for trees. Solar power systems are the conversion of renewable energy from sunlight to electricity. Thus, by installing them, helps combat greenhouse gases and reduces our dependence towards fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are harmful as they emit harmful gases that cause air pollution. Therefore, IKEA showed us that it is possible to care for the environment by doing the respective changes. In other hand, Google is also one of the leading companies that shows its commitment in sustainability. Google has been carbon neutral since 2007. The investments made by them in renewable energy projects and other initiatives enable to draw carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and into storage. When harmful gases are being emitted from burning fossil fuels, it offsets the emissions when carbon dioxide are released. Both companies have showed us their capabilities in being environmentally friendly. They showed us that it is possible to create a business that could gain profits as well as saving the environment. Moving to my second point. Large corporations able to help the environment by changing their methods. Embracing new and sustainable practices enable them to help fight the current issue with the environment. One of the ways they can incorporate is by reducing the waste in offices. By avoiding the use of disposable cups for coffee machine, they can incorporate by providing bottles to each employee for them to use during office hours. Most people neglect their responsibility by forgetting to bring their own or misplacing them. Therefore, this rules out the possibility of those behaviors, and if they are used to the system, they can create healthy habits out of the system. On the other hand, offices can provide the solution to create less waste in papers by providing a fax machine. By having this machine, employees can switch to fax to email solution that will cut back on paper use. Last but not least, large corporations can assist in fighting the climate change by using its power of influence. Nowadays, social medias are the platforms for social movements. With the touch of our fingers, information will be streaming from all parts of the globe. Companies have the access in influencing the society through social media platforms. By using this opportunity, people will be supporting the causes in a blink of an eye. Such positive moments can influence people and letting them know the causes they are fighting for and how it will affect the environment in positive ways. One of the leading examples is Johnson & Johnson, which is a pharmaceutical industry company. This company has led educating the consumers on recycling tips, videos, and how-tos on its website called caretorecycle.com. They have helped the environment by manufacturing the finest personal care products that are environmentally responsible. They also initiated in reducing waste by using sustainable products and packaging methods when manufacturing or distributing. Furthermore, Nike has also been one of the companies that highlight the value of green initiatives through its advertising. They have produced lines of sustainable products. that are environmentally friendly by using materials such as recycled polyester. Both companies have used their influence well by promoting their support through advertising their costs. In a nutshell, the power we have towards creating sustainable environment is not as influencing as large companies. Although we are incorporating small acts of sustainability through our daily lives, we don't hold as much power as the large companies who have the capability to create measurable change. It is gratifying to know that people are creating less waste and it has been normalized into our daily lives to form habits that approaches sustainable movements. However, shrinking carbon footprints is not at the same level as corporations would by changing their waste methods. Thank you.
Okay. Assalamualaikum, IB to everyone. So my topic for today is good saving plans. Good saving plans are a lifesaver. Do you know only 8% people in Malaysia are saving between 1,000 to 15,000 monthly only? So if you say no, I will explain more about it. You know, for nowadays, money is everything because we can buy anything that we want, such as security, freedom, health, and even happiness. Based on Thomas Jefferson, never spend your money before you have it. From that quote, spending money you have don't. From that quote, spending your money before you have it, never a good idea for then and now. If you can't pay cash for something, then you save up for it until you can. Therefore, I am going to give you a few benefits of savings money. First and foremost, do you think when saving provide financial security? Absolutely correct if your answer is yes. I'm going to explain more about it. If we practice savings in our daily life, we can give someone or ourselves a chance to live in a better life. There are two ways for saving. Firstly, we can save money in cash through the bank. For example, when we have 50 ringgit cash, then deposit transfer to your account bank. So that with this money, we can use it when there's a break or emergency or unexpected expenses too. Next is putting money into something like brokerage account when you can invest that money for the future. With the money, maybe you can open business or anything that can give you benefits. So next is, do you know money can work for you? If you say no, let me explain about it. Basically, if you guys know, many of us have a knowledge, the basic of saving, just like I said earlier, which is we save our money in the bank. So in this case, I want to tell you about rich people. They label the normal people that they don't know what is money work for you. You just need to make sure that you have to expenses about 3 or 6 months in your emergency savings or fund. That's where the magic start to happen. So for the next step, you can start saving money in a stock market, buying gold bar or other stock market in this country. But before you want to enhance your savings, you need a knowledge to do so. So this will give your money become more expanded, faster and smooth and keeping with other expenses too. So based on all the benefits that I've mentioned just now, that is just several on ways that's why saving important for future. But the benefits given maybe not work on several people because each people have their own style on savings. So these benefits may work on you if you don't have any idea on plans to have a good savings for your future. My extra tips for you guys that want to get a proper saving, if you guys need to start from now and learn more knowledge about savings from your seniors or from the internet. So if one day you get emergency suddenly, so you don't have to be panic or worried or make a loan from bank. If you want to be a person who good in saving, you need to find out the best way on savings every month. Thus, when you have a savings, totally you will be more happy. Build it, grow it, save it. Thank you.